What kind of hat are you wearing?
Rahm University,
What?
Rahm Thomas University.
Jeez.
Yeah, so I'm wearing the Rahm Thomas University hat today that we are accredited in some of the countries and getting accredited in all of them, and equivalency degrees for the United States in case you're a United States citizen. We will launch the pilot this summer. We probably aren't going to charge people for the pilot because we're going to be testing our university and how we do everything through the summer. But today,
Free tuition?
well, we're only going to do a couple people. Like we're not doing. I don't have. I'm the one doing it, so I don't have the ability to do. Like,
No, it's because we have professors and everything because it's a real school.
We do, but we have to develop everything. So, and we have people in the root community that want to partner with it and want to teach. So we're extremely excited. If I can get all this summer through, the next 30, 60, 90 days, we'll be able to really go full force. I still think that all the programs are going to take some time to completely develop.
Oh, yes. But today we get to talk about what we had intended for the Tilly dog and Hiccup and Crumpet and the farm and everyone else's animals. It's right. Bill Coo Day. So yesterday, now if you're watching this, if you're here today and you weren't here yesterday on the RPS call, and if you're an RPS member, you might know that as someone who subscribes to RPS, by the way, it's free.
Is it free?
Yes, it is. We don't charge people for joining RPS. That's an Amazon thing.
I don't really know what I don't really know about RPS.
But what we're going to talk about today, our RPS members learned about yesterday. And if you log into your account and you go under RPS, you might find that there's special pricing for RPS members today. So medical disclaimer, today there are none because we're talking pets, baby. So get rid of the disclaimer. We're here for education and entertainment purposes, and we're talking animals.
That's right.
Let's rock.
Let's go. Sorry, I'm trying to multitask as usual on this call, but I'm ready.
Be a member of RPS, though. That is right.
RPS, you order every month. Right?
Yes, you get it delivered every month. You get shipping discounts, and you get free money and goodies. You kicking me, huh?
I'm pushing you over. Clayton knows I sometimes feel suffocated. There's our tour that Ted and I were working on.
Oh.
It says Berlin, Cologne, Zurich, Salzburg, Slovenia, Prague, Romania. That's our June dates. We start on the 10th in Berlin and the 11th in Berlin.
Let's go.
So we'll talk a little bit about that tomorrow on Instagram. But all right, let's go. Let's talk about Bill Coo. We are so super excited about launching this brand. And like I said earlier, we actually will be the 27th through the 3rd, the 27th of August through the 3rd of September, we'll be doing a special Bill Coo /Root Hampton Classic event. Before that, we're going to do a fashion show that will be in the Hamptons, and it'll be mostly with Mercy Dupree and Ella Pure. Mercy Dupree clothes and Ella Pure and Root and
Environ.
Yeah, and Environ. Yeah. We'll be incorporating both of those with Coato and everything. But let's talk about what we talked about yesterday on the RPS call. You guys know that we have 5 products right now that we are launching. We will be launching more, but this was a starting point for where we started. So, but I'm looking at this. We have more than 5, don't we? Yeah, Longer Lives. Oh, we changed the name.
Best Lives is the new name for compliance, much like mitochondrial support.
Right. So if you guys look at that, that's why Jayla highlighted it in yellow. Longer Lives is the new name instead of Best Lives is the new name instead of Longer Lives. Because we always have to get trademarks and we always have to make sure that the names aren't being used in that country.
Well, and we also can't guarantee that your pets will have longer lives because there are cars. Dogs chase cars. And if a dog gets hit by a car and is using longer lives, then we could get sued. because it didn't guarantee the dog had a longer life.
That's
why.
not, that's
It's a
not.
compliance thing, unfortunately.
Oh, I was told by the attorneys it was a trademark thing.
Could be that too.
Anyway, so let's talk about Anigreens first. So Clay, first, before we start this, what's your favorite product on the list? And then I'm going to ask Patrick and Ted.
If I had to choose,
For your animals.
Pure Clean Pets.
What's yours, Patrick?
Longer lives.
Okay, and Ted?
Of course, Patrick would choose the name that doesn't have that name right now because he didn't even use the correct name because we changed the name. But he's like, I want longer lives. Sorry, it's best lives.
I don't know. Ted's on here, but I can tell you my favorite product is Coato.
I knew it.
Clayton knew it because that's what I'm so excited about is the Coato for the animals as well as the skin defense for humans.
So couple things with pets though is growing up in a veterinary practice. One of the things that I learned early on is that the majority of almost all of a pet's health issues are going to pertain to two things: environment and diet. So one, you've created the mechanisms. Actually, my favorite, Pure Clean Pets, and your favorite, Coato, are designed to address the environmental components.
Yeah.
But Anigreens, Defend,
and
Best Lives are designed to support the lifestyle aspect.
Yeah, so, but I would say Anigreens has definitely an environmental component too, because I made that to really also help get toxins out of the body. Because just like Relive Greens and Clean Slate are both detoxification products, as well as, of course, Relive Greens and Anigreens are also supporting the body and helping with preventing certain diseases. They are helping take care of getting rid of environmental toxins as well.
So we know that humans and animals, well, genetically, we share a lot of DNA. We have some differences.
We do.
So Anigreens and Relive Greens are both greens.
Yep. We're going to talk a little bit more about them later too, the specific ingredients so that people understand the importance. But if you look at Anigreens, just to give you guys a summary really quick so we can go on to dosing, because we did hear your questions yesterday and we're trying to make sure we address them all. I have a hard stop just so everyone knows at 3, but Ted and Clay and Patrick will finish it. What's your favorite product of the pet products, Ted?
I mean,
you have to pick one.
I have to pick one right now?
Yeah.
Well, we all pick something different.
What'd you pick?
No, that's not the choice. You can't choose what she chose.
What we pick.
You know what? Ted's gonna be like, I like that one.
No,
No.
I mean, I'm gonna go with Clean Pure Pets. Clean.
You and Clay.
Yeah.
That's right. Same birthday.
That's right. Same birthday. Same.
Isn't that weird that we have?
Patrick picked Best Lives and I picked Coato. Definitely my best product.
Well,
Coato's going to blow everyone else out of the water. No,
Coato.
because Coato can be taken orally too. So I'm just going to tell you that's going to blow everything out of the water once we launch that.
Okay, so Defend Your Pet is what?
So Defend Your Pet is, so I was really interested in DNA integrity. And just so you guys know, NAD and Quercetin and all the things that go along with immune defense shield are things that animals need too. And no one's really brought that to light for animals. There's research that documents the key ingredients, and we're going to go into that. But I was really trying to ensure cell function. I really wanted to look at age-related diseases, because if you look at animals,
That's huge.
they progress very quickly after they get to 5 years of age to 7 years as far as age-related illnesses. So I really wanted to preserve the integrity of the DNA. No one's doing it, guys. We are on the cutting edge right now of being able to help animals throughout the world. So those of you that do know people that have camels, if you know people that have falcons, if you know people that have horses that are very expensive, you need to be in front of them talking about Defend Your Pets and how you're helping preserve the DNA integrity and the proper cells for the plant,
So
for the pets.
How many Harvard nanobiotechnologists and bioscience engineers have created pet lines?
I don't know the answer to that.
The answer is
it.
1. Yes. This one.
Well, I don't know that. I just know that we have something that no one has. You've got Pure Clean Pets and you've got Coato. And I can tell you definitely with Coato, no one out there has that product that's even comparable.
So Coato can protect from fleas and ticks. So summertime, springtime, pets are going outside. Ticks are an issue, especially where we live. And Tilly's always chasing her tennis ball into areas where there's tick risk. So you've got protection from environmental factors of many kinds. But let's go to the fun.
So let's go on to the, well, no, we didn't go down to Coato. I just want to say this for people that weren't on the call yesterday. I went into Defend Your Pets. I went, Best Lives is definitely just a summary, is there to really help with the coat health and systemic inflammation. But it's also there with mood and energy, just like Defend Your Pets. So I want to say this, if you look at 4 of these products, actually the top 3, they all do have anti-cancer properties. They all do help with bowel movements and with the GI, so gut, heart, and brain functioning. They all help with mood and energy, and we're going to get into that. And they also help with your immune system, as well as different things that have to do with aging. And I just want to tie those 3 into it, because those 3 are helping your dog live the best life possible.
Or cat.
Or cat, or camel, or horse. So those are really, really important. And the bottom 2, Clay's, was targeting, really helping with the environment. But again, they have additional support as well. And you're going to see that as we go through the deck. But let's talk dosing.
Oh, right. How cool of a photo was that?
Whose dog is that? Is that Joyce?
That's not Joy's dog, but
I can't remember whose dog that is.
I think that's
So proper dosing is essential, but I have to tell you that every animal is different. So when I developed the dosing regimen, I did consult with a number of people, but I also understood that this will fluctuate depending on the animal and depending on the breed. So the Anigreens, I say 1/4 of a teaspoon. It's a small bottle because it's very concentrated. So even if you gave 1/4 of a teaspoon or 1/8 to even a horse or a camel, they're going to get benefits because of the micronutrients that are within the Anigreens. It's made differently than the Relive greens. I'm just going to tell you guys that. So for example, Birgit pointed out yesterday that yes, people could take these, but these were made specifically for animals to make sure, because every animal's DNA, the cellular function, the organ functioning is different and than human beings, but there are some similarities. So there's definitely different concentrations. So we started with 1/4 of a teaspoon per 10 pounds. However, again, even if you took 1/8 to 1/4 of a teaspoon for a large animal, they would get significant benefits because this has a microdosing, micronutrient aspect to it in the way it was developed. Pure Clean Pets, just so you guys know, 10 drops to food twice daily, AM and PM. For those of you that have animals that have different things, like vaccinations, or you have animals that have cancer or different kinds of disorders, you may want to do a 7-7-7. So basically 7 at breakfast, 7 at lunch, and 7 at dinner, or again, twice a day, because usually people feed their animals twice a day. So that's why we put AM and PM.
and it's best to put it on their food, not in their water, but you can put it in their water depending.
But they have to drink the water. Clay's right about that. I put it in the water when I give it to our animals, but I mean, our animals drink all the water. So our horse though, Matt, you're right. You wouldn't put it in the water because you put it on a snack. Yeah. Because Matt does not drink all of his huge trough of water. Best Lives is 1/2 of a teaspoon per 10 pounds of body weight. But again, you can go lower or higher depending on the animal. If you have animals that are in pain and they have joint discomfort or they're having problems walking, this is definitely something that can help your pets. And just so you know, horses have a lot of those issues.
And it's something you can do as a loading phase initially, to where you might use more for the first week, and then you can back off to load them up.
Yeah. If you guys see the hoofs of horses, you definitely, when you look at them, you know that they need the collagen, and they also need clean slate or clean pets, because clean pets will help with that production as well. And so it's important to give them both. If you wanted to combine all of this in their food, the morning and at night, you could, just so you guys know, because people have been asking me that. I also had a question about a gerbil and a guinea pig and putting it in their water, etc. Yes, you can do it, even if you put the Anigreens, but you got to make sure it doesn't clog the stopper and that the animal is able to get it off.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to put the greens in there. You'd put it on the food or something.
Well, they asked because they tried it with Relive Greens and they said it worked. And I said, no, they said it worked. And I said, that's great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I load everything Dr. Rahm in barley and sage's bowls every night. They get it all. So I give it all to them at once.
Were they reluctant initially to try it, given the new taste and texture, or did they just start for the first time?
Never. They never skipped a beat. I'm talking all of it. No issue at all. And since day one, it's expected now. I thought that they would maybe not like it because I do a little water in their food too. We give them the special food and the water turns green. And Jilly was like, honey, the water's green. I'm like, it's fine. Don't worry. Every single thing, they lick the bowl. Everything is dry at the end of their meal. It's amazing.
It's good times.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, Ted, because I think I got a lot of WhatsApps yesterday and emails and communication about how long does it take animals to get used to this? And my answer was, we never have had an issue with any of our products or anything new that we've tried that I've made with our animals. They eat it right away and they love it. Mm-hmm. So I don't think most people will have an issue with this at all, Clay.
Nope.
Then I had another question yesterday about birds and about birds being able to use these products. The answer is absolutely. Birds can use these products. A bird usually is very tiny. And so you just have to make sure that when you give it to the birds that you remember that. Another question I had was about what if the mother dies? Can you give them best lives? And the answer is yes. For example, if you're trying to feed baby birds or baby animals, a lot of times they'll tell you to use like more milk. You can use best lives, but again, it's just going to take time for them to get used to it. Defend your pets. That is something that is 10 pounds, 1/2 per 10 pounds of body weight as well. And again, that's something that's really there to help the animals preserve the integrity of the cells and to live as long as possible.
Yeah, and Nurse Christy asked for horses if you can use a syringe. Yeah, just don't use the needle. They don't need to be injected with it. But if you give them a squirt, they'll love it. And you can put it on their food. Like if you're giving them if you feed them grain or whatever you feed them, just put it on the top of their food. You won't have an issue.
So let's take a deep dive into Defend Your Pets and Best Lives, because last week we talked about Anigreens and Coato. We'll talk a little bit more about that today, but we really wanted to jump in to Defend Your Pets because this is a unique blend of really vitamins and minerals. It really protects them from aging and disease, which is extremely important. And I think for me, if you ask me what was I the most excited about, it would definitely be Defend Your Pets and Coato. Of course, I understand that Pure Clean Pets and everything else are very important, but I also understand that there's nothing like this out there. Like there's not a product out there right now that has a NAD that's preserved for up to 2 years in a shelf space that can really help with their skin and their coat and overall well-being and support the immune system while defending the aging process. And for me, this was extremely important to be able to bring out for animals. I did extensive research to look at animals that had assistance in this area because my thought process was, okay, this is like cutting edge for humans. And we all know this now. We know that NAD and quercetin can help with drug addicts and alcoholics. We know that it helps people with cancer and multiple sclerosis and lots of different issues, as well as aging and how you look. So why wouldn't it help pets? And the more I looked into it, the more I understood how important it was. There is a little bit of a difference, as you can see in this and in the the mitochondria defense, because as you see, I added carrot powder. And just like I did with the beet powder, with the collagen, it's because there's different things that help animals again than what we need. Even though we like carrots and we like beets as well.
Really likes carrots? Matt.
He does love them. We talked about vitamin C last week. I'll let you talk about it some more.
Why do we need to go over more of vitamin C? I think everyone understands the benefits of one of the foundational vitamins as far as the anti-inflammatory properties. The interesting research with looking at distemper and respiratory issues because of its anti-inflammatory properties being very, very beneficial. The one interesting thing you're going to see with the vitamin C, and then when you add in Pure Clean Pets, which has the vitamin C, you are going to find tremendous benefits with urinary tract health in all animals.
As well as lameness for horses and stuff
Oh,
like
with
that.
reduction of inflammation and such, and this is an important component in understanding with animal health as well as human health, which is why we've had so many remarks from people that have had surgeries, whether it's back surgery or knee surgery, shoulders, hips, what have you, is sometimes you'll have pain in those areas because what Clean Slate is doing on the human side, but what Pure Clean Pets will do on the animal side is removing those toxins from the surgical sites or from the area of injury. And as that happens, the delivery of the silica and the regeneration process is going to aid in, one, the reduction of inflammation. That's from the toxin removal. But then when you have the components of the vitamin C working to reduce inflammation, and you have the silica, the trace minerals, some of the other components are actually going to aid in the regeneration and reduction of pain in those. So you're going to see, and what's really interesting is, in case you didn't know this scientifically, there's no placebo effect in animals.
Yeah, that's true.
So if you see changes, it's not like I can tell Tilly, okay, Tilly, I'm going to give you this and you're going to feel better.
No, they don't know that. They don't understand that like humans. So you
can't influence it.
Yeah. And I think it's important for people to know that with the Defend Your Pets, this vitamin C was added, and I had someone ask the question, why? And so I wanted to add this and make sure people understood. Here's why, because it helps significantly. So I like to put that in as many products as possible for humans and for animals. Also, vitamin C is a carrier. It's a catalyst. When used in a lab, it helps the dosing and macronutrients as well as micronutrients go and be delivered throughout the body. Someone asked me the other day, do your products go past the brain barrier? My answer to that is my products have things in it that are carriers and are catalysts that communicate with the overall body. And understanding that is something that took me years to understand and develop. And that's one of the reasons our products are more effective and have changed so many people's lives. But talking about carrots, Clay, you brought it up. We all know that it helps with the eyes. We know that it helps with the heart. It helps with the circular system, the endocrine system. I don't think that's on here, but I want to make sure I point that out. It helps with the neurotransmission of the body. It's another thing that protects even against UV rays. So a lot of your natural sunscreens have carrots in it, but what people don't know that if you eat carrots, that also will help your skin from the UV and from the pollution and the damage. So
are you saying that a healthy body is self-protective?
Yes. And you can really, because the issue is your body was made to protect itself. We used to be outside all the time.
No.
But our bodies aren't working as well because of pollution and because of all the heavy metals in the environment. So our job is to help our bodies and our animals so that they don't have all the skin damage and they can help throughout the body. That vitamin A, which is really a key vitamin in carrots, is really high in the beta carotenes. It really helps with promoting healthy skin and healthy eyes, healthy heart, healthy bodies. It's really important. So that's one of the reasons it was added.
And then we get into the bad boy.
Yep. Then we get into
what's interesting, because I was reading an article and I was talking about this, I think, in ambassador training on Monday about NAD. And there's a couple articles that just came out in different publications talking about how the billionaire, the affluent crowd is looking to reverse aging or prolong life for longer than 130, 150 years.
Yeah.
And there was comments that
they need Matt.
By 2000, they need to meet Matt.
They need to meet Matt.
But by 2028, they were saying that there's going to be supplements that people will be able to acquire. And there was a couple of drug companies that were producing these products that can increase longevity. The funny part is that's 2028. We're in 2023 and you've already done it.
Well, we're already doing it. We already have patents on it. We're already doing it. Right?
So talk a little bit about why NAD. We've hit on NAD constantly for what it does. And that NAD is the power source for the powerhouse of really every cell, not just every cell in your body or in your pet's body, but every cell. So with that being the case, NAD is also highly unstable. You are actually the first scientist that's ever stabilized this stuff for longer than 60 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's one for 90 days.
Oh, okay. So 90 days. You're 2 years. You got 2 years stability on this. So hit on a little bit on NAD.
1 second. Sorry. I'm making sure I put the patents what I needed to do to Jayla. So NAD for me is significantly important. You guys heard me talk about it earlier. There's been so much research now that's really cutting edge that we have found that it really can help with longevity. My patents are approved for reversal of aging and regeneration of the skin, hair, and nails and cells and land. But if you look at where I've gone since I've written the patents, actually, I've done significant research on NAD and mitochondria and telomeres. I was working on telomeres 20 years ago with pharmaceutical companies, with bioprinting and different things that we are looking at, as well as cloning. It's really important for people to understand if you can, instead of having to clone or bioprint a whole body, if you can basically go in and do biohacking and make sure everything's working and communicating, then you are remodeling the body. And I'm going to tell you this, people understand remodeling and rescaffolding a house and a foundation of the house and the inside and the outside, then you guys have got to start understanding resurfacing and revamping the inside of the body and the outside of our bodies and animals. And if you look at the studies in this slide, it talks about mice, and you guys may remember this, with supplementing their diet with NAD, the mice, which there's no placebo again, this is a reality, these are animals, and so you track them. Their endurance levels were 50% higher when they were on NAD. That's huge, guys. You want to perform 50% better? You want to be 50% healthier? If you guys ask me why you would take immune defense shield, the mitochondria defense shield, which is now immune defense shield, this is why. And another thing showed the inflammation markers basically reduced those levels by 40% and increased lifespan 20%. And if you say to me, well, that's not a lot, it's huge, 20%. So let's say you're going to live to be 100. Now you're going to live to be 120. Like, that's huge, you guys. And that's what you're doing. Yeah, it's huge, because the 20, like placebo, when you do drug trials, 40% is nothing, because people will take something and think they're better. Because in our minds are so strong, whatever we think happens, right? In animals, it's not the same. Animals, you see what you get, which is what Clayton's saying. And I'm going to tell you something. This is the difference in having, so a dog has for every year, 7 years. So let's say a dog is 8 years old, right?
Difference between 8 and 10.
Right. Let's say a dog, okay, let's vamp it up. Let's say a dog is 12 years old. So do you want that dog 13 years old? Do you want that dog to live 2, 3, 4 more years? That's what this is saying. This is helping this animal really prolong their lifespan.
I'm gonna hit on 2 things, and then because we're gonna look at this original data that's here, but then I'm gonna hit on stacking. So make a note to remind me of stacking.
Okay.
Because you skipped over one of the most, Jayla, don't you go forward on me. I'm not done yet on this.
Did Jayla like that? Her picture's on the front cover. Did we show that?
Oh, she did that intentionally. She's like,
I think her boyfriend did that.
Oh, but if you saw the picture, you know how she got Tilly's attention while she was holding the Pure Clean Pet. She had a tennis ball in her other hand.
Did she?
She spiked the photo. She made sure she had their attention.
Oh my gosh, Jayla, he's right. The ball.
Tilly's not, if you notice, Tilly is not looking at Pure Clean Pet.
That's why
she is trained on the tennis ball.
Okay.
But the important part,
we should have done it. We should have asked the audience. You guys remember that at some point, Ted and Patrick, we'll go back and have a contest and ask people if they remember what Jayla was holding.
So if you're like me, I'm a sports guy. I love science, but I'm a marketing freak. And what you see in the first part, now, not everyone is going to have access to this market, but this, if you wanted a unique aspect to charge whatever you wanted for a product, the fact that NAD supplementation in horses increases their muscle performance by up to 40%, this product is worth hundreds of millions of dollars to those that spend hundreds of millions of dollars on horses and camels. Because if you can take a performance horse, whether it's dressage, whether it's equestrian, whether it's a thoroughbred, and you increase their muscle performance by 40%, good night. And here's the interesting part. As we look at this data, as Dr. Rahm was mentioning, 20% increase in life lifespan just by tweaking NAD levels. But when you start stacking components, you take Pure Clean Pets. So you're actually cleaning everything out every day. You're giving the bioavailable silica that's needed in the regeneration process that happens in humans and animals. And then you're boosting NAD.
That's what I'm saying. You're biohacking the system.
You're biohacking at a level of which we've never seen before. I mean, we can look at individual studies to say NAD increases, performance by 40%, increases lifespan by 20%.
But do you know why our biohacking is also different than anyone else's?
Because you did it.
No, our biohacking is different because the biohacking is predominantly done by people that really are self-focused on their life. Our biohacking is emotional, mental, spiritual, physical health. So we can not just protect our lives, but others. And that's why this root community is so different. I do want to stop and I want to say this to you all. Your community you've developed right now is not the community you need to develop for this brand. So when we launched this on RPS, I was kind of surprised at the numbers. And let me explain why. We've got to get people in the community that this is what they're focused on.
And people are just going to crush the pet.
And then they're going to come over and try the human products. But you guys have got to start really targeting just Bill and Coo.
Hey, there's the science girl being the business girl right there. She does everything.
Booyah, Stuart.
It's the ninja.
That was actually her nickname in biotech and pharma. They called her the ninja.
Well, yeah,
because you had no idea who was walking in the room.
No, because here's the thing, you got to put your head in a space where I've always said this, the best doctors, the best scientists, the best salespeople, they're thinking, what are other people thinking? Not what they're thinking. Who cares what we're thinking? We need to think, what are the people that love animals? What are they thinking? And there's millions of them all over the world. I am being inundated right now by people that are having puppies, that they have animals that are having kittens or puppies or calves, et cetera, et cetera. And they're so excited about these products for their newborn, puppies and animals. And I agree. This is something that is significant. I know for our animals on the farm, and I know for Ted, these are things that are really important. We're not just saying we're giving these to our animals. This is a part of our lives where we're supporting our animals to have the best, longest life possible. And NAD is definitely something your animals need to use. The fact that we're cutting edge is incredible.
And K2 is a precursor.
Oh yeah, I got to tell you, if you're not using
NAD.
K2 with NAD and Quercetin, then you've missed the mark. And I got to tell you, everyone needs K2 in their diet. It's something that our bodies are not able to really produce and not even able to actively take from a lot of food we're eating. You really need to create K2 in a way that is bioavailable and efficacious and safe. And that's what we've done. That's what I've done here for the root community to make sure that we have an increased level of immunoglobulin, because that's so important.
IgG.
It's so important to the immune system, and it's underrated. Like, people don't understand how important it is to a healthy immune system. I hear people say they love their animals. Well, then what are you doing for your animals? Have your animals been vaccinated? Because let me just tell you this, if they have, you've got to have, and some animals have to be vaccinated, Clay, because they have to get on planes.
Travel. And this is an important part with a lot of performance animals. Show dogs, hello. But
they have to be.
They have to get shots for travel. The most important thing you can do is before they go in for their shots, they get loaded up. And as soon as they leave their shot, or as soon as the shot is done, they get more. And
I have to say,
only if you want them to be healthy, you love them and you want them to live a long time. If you want them to die, just let them do it.
And anybody that has veterinarians or people that say they know animals that are questioning the ingredients in this, please reach out to me, because I've got tons of research that backs these key ingredients and what they do for animals and how protective they are and how they help them detox from the environment as well as their bodies. So please reach out to me if there's questions on it. But again, there's a lot of people in your communities that this is not a topic for them. There are so many people out there that you guys are going to touch that it is important. That's why I'm going to stop this call for a second and ask Ted and Patrick, when are the bandanas coming out so we can advertise for this?
They are not bandanas.
Whatever they are.
They are.
I made them.
They are pet ascots.
It's an ascot. It's an
Bill and
ascot.
Coo animals will not wear bandanas. They will only wear an ascot.
We're gonna have Bill and Coo and Root bandanas so that when people stop you with your animals, they can ask you what it is. And I really think we need a QR code on those bandanas, Patrick, so that people can scan it.
But why would someone stop you if you have a pet wearing an ascot? Is it because they're wearing an ascot, or is it because they're going to look so outstanding and so healthy that people are like, hold on, why is your animal better than mine?
They're going to
And
look
then
at
you
the
can
pretty
share.
ascots, as you call them,
Yes.
and say, what is that on the cat or the dog or the hamster or the guinea pig?
If you can get an ascot on a hamster or a guinea pig, do we have little ones?
I don't know if anyone's had
That's
as
like
many
milking a
hamsters.
cat.
I always had hamsters and guinea pigs and mice
It's a
and
guinea pig.
lizards, by the way, growing up, and a peacock.
We're gonna have a peacock.
Yeah. So anyway, this is so important, and I really want Patrick. Do we have an answer to that when we'll be launching that, or Ted? Since I'm going to hold both of you guys to that.
As soon as possible.
Okay, I need it. I really want it because I agree with Ted. Like when we're traveling and you guys bring your animals, I want to see those bandanas on them, and we will be giving some of those away.
But
during-
Wendy brought up a good point.
Interrupting.
No, sorry, but Wendy brought up a good point that people can put their own QR code on their.
They should put their own QR code, but I'm still stuck on you milking the cat right now, Clay.
Hey, you know what? Because they just have the little teeth.
Where Clay, I can't see this. So we're
Well,
going on.
talking magnesium.
So we're talking magnesium. And so you guys know, well, if you don't know, let me explain this. Electrolytes are really important to an animal. That's why it's important that they drink and eat right. But electrolytes can really get off in the body. And the only way you can really properly support nerves and muscles and joints is to have enough electrolytes to help with the blood sugar, the blood pressure, to help with the overall body. It's really, really important. It keeps the heart in rhythm. It keeps your circulatory system in rhythm and helps neurotransmission. So that's why it was so important to really add this to this particular product to make sure your dogs can maintain that. And then another thing is the trace minerals, of course, that improve the absorption of the nutrients, another catalyst in here that also helps with digestion. It can also help, just so everyone know, as a pre and probiotic, it can help that work even more. It improves skin and overall appearance, and it helps with many conditions, including mood, which we don't have on here, but that's something that.
So a source of trace minerals happens to be sea salt, from one of the purest sources of sea salts. And it's important because you're getting all 70 trace minerals that are needed in the body all at one time. And they're trace minerals because you don't need massive amounts of them.
What's one of the top reasons, by the way, that dogs die? Do you know? Don't look.
Quercetin deficiency?
No, cancer.
Yes.
And
What's
so we
interesting-
talked about that a lot, but yet, did you know that quercetin was found to reduce the risk of cancer in dogs for up to 50%, you guys?
Do you know what's going to be found to reduce the risk of
Wow.
cancer in dogs by nearly 100%?
These products.
These products.
That's right.
So
Hey, I
What's
want to
interesting in
interrupt
animals,
real
because
quick.
Great Danes.
we need to be having major meetings. Like all of you guys that are out there, you need to be calling meetings with your animal lover friends, with the veterinarians, with the breeders that are having animals, and really rolling this out. Duquesne brought up a great idea, and he's right. We did
Go to the dog park.
we had a that was not his idea. That's a good idea though too, Clay.
Keep going.
So we had a big deal, in Fashion Week. And Patrick and Ted and Stephanie, I don't know if she's listening, and Jayla, we need to push out again the Fashion Week stuff because we supported animals. We gave a significant amount of money. We were the main sponsor to raise money for animals all over the world that were in shelters. You guys should be approaching shelters
Mhm.
and helping the animals there.
As a
We-
fundraiser, though,
we can help on our end, but Ted and Patrick brought up a great point to me earlier. Clayton's brought it up multiple times. You guys have your own companies. You can support them and use your QR code and use your link to really help these animals all over the world. Because at this point, just so everyone knows, we've had a lot of requests from a lot of people for us to send samples and to support these different shelters, different breeders, different veterinarians. And we are going to do some of that. We have done some of that, but you guys just know this. If it's in your community and you want to grow your business, this is a huge opportunity. I forgot how many billions of dollars it is in animal supplements. Do you know, Ted? Have we ever looked that up? It's a lot.
A
Yeah,
plethora.
I think it's like 1.7 billion in animal supplements.
Billion in animal supplements. So guys, this is worth doing. And I can tell you, we haven't even touched upon it. Like we're getting ready to launch a campaign at the Hamptons. And Patrick, I really want to make sure that our partners in that understand and that we let Lisa know we've got to really focus on this pet brand because you have the top horse breeders and you also have in the world that will be at the Hampton Classic. And then you also have a lot of your animal lovers that will be there. We haven't touched upon the fact that we do have a clothing line for animals. You guys do know that, but that won't be fully launched until summer. And Jayla Archie is helping significantly with that as well as the rest of us to make sure that we have things out there so you guys have them for your community. Another thing you're going to see that we're going to be rolling out is we're going to have, just like the Rahm University hats, we're working on making sure we have hats around each brand, but you're going to see things that have like Bill Coo, and then on the side, powered by Root with the Root information on it. So that you guys can really hand out each brand. When you're talking to animal lovers, you're talking about Bill Coo. When you're talking to people that are into the skincare and makeup business, you're talking about Ella Pure. So it's going to be really neat how you guys are going to really be able to kind of cross intertwine with all these brands and promote your Root link so you can grow Root. So now we're going on to the next group of products, which has to do with Patrick's favorite. And this is called Longer Life. And a lot of you guys have asked me why the red beet powder in this. That's because beets, and Patrick knew this, are really, really good for animals. And it's a specific powder that I was able to source to make it into a micronutrient to nano emulsions, which could really be impactful to the animals. So it's a smaller bottle, but it's because of the way it's made and how it will really transcend and be bioavailable throughout the body. Very excited about this because using human grade collagen peptides was really important. And again, you guys know this. Our program has cruelty free because we put them through a cruelty free program. I'm going to tell you guys this, without collagen, without milk, none of these babies would live. If a mother cannot have enough product, enough milk to give the baby, then the babies die, the puppies die. If a dog has too many puppies, like we had, Fifi had 7 puppies. We had to feed with a bottle every hour. And we kept almost all but one of those puppies lived, but it takes significant time and energy. It's really important. So for those people that say, well, I don't believe in collagen, well, let me just tell you what I believe in. I believe in animals living. I believe in people living. And collagen is one of those things that's important. And if you don't understand that, I'm sorry. It's very, very true. I did put it through a process which helps eliminate things out of the collagen. My goal was to have to really get rid of the toxins that can be in milk, as well as the lactose that can be in milk, to make a purified blend, which I don't believe anyone's done that before. So it took significant time to give me back my youth. And I think everyone in this office knew that. It's kind of like the toothpaste. It wasn't an easy thing to do, but it's because we wanted to make something as safe and bioavailable and efficacious as possible. And that's why this is considerably different than anything else that you're going to buy that has the collagen peptides in it.
And a very, very important catalyst to collagen synthesis happens to be bioavailable silica.
Yeah, absolutely.
Found
In Pure Clean Pets and Coato.
Booyah, Stuart.
You know what's all else is important, just to give you guys a heads up, are the white and red blood cells working in the plasma of the body. We all know that. You can't live without it, right? It's so important. But I think what a lot of people don't know is hypochlorous acid and the different products that I worked on for Coato and Defend and the Skin Defense has that in it. And you can usually only get that from the human body. Usually it's a biologic or a pharmaceutical, but there are ways to make that naturally. And so we do have that in the Coato, not to get off topic, but that's something that will be significant to these animals as well, which is why I said spraying it on their eyes and in their nose and their ears and in their mouth is really important for your animals, not just on their coat.
So the point you're making is the mucous membranes.
Yeah.
Right. Is really important. So if there's bird flu, and if you didn't know the marketing that they're coming out with, there's supposed to be new version of bird flu coming for humans and animals. So the one thing that you want to do is spray their mucous membrane. So like she's talking about, especially with dogs and cats, their nose, right? Because everything is scent derived. So if you spray their nose and spray around their mouth and you spray around their eyes, they'll close their eyes for you. It doesn't hurt, but you're doing a ton to protect them from their environment. But the same thing for people. This is the earliest version is something that Dr. Rahm created 3 years ago when COVID started, and our friends have actually been using the same bottle that she created 3 years ago every damn day since, and they didn't get sick for the last 3 years.
Well, Jayla, Archie's parents were a part of that. We made, and I know the Smallwoods, David and Micah actually works here. David and Joy Smallwood said they never stopped using it. And I don't know that I even had a 2-year shelf life on that original formula, but on what we have now, we do. I got off topic, so I apologize to everyone, but I did want to make sure I brought up those points. We haven't talked about the root beet powder. I was impressed that Patrick knew about it because a lot of people don't understand how important it is. And again, this was sourced from a specific place. It was really important to me to be able to develop a type of powder that would have the micro and macronutrients and could be made into basically a nano emulsion product that we could put into a powder. So it was extremely important. It took a long time. I don't think a lot of the manufacturing labs actually like me or their salespeople or or the people that help me produce things, because it's so important to me that we have the very best. And any of you guys that question that, I brought this up yesterday, I'm the one that handles manufacturing. I am taking that over to make sure that I'm overseeing the continuous testing. Clay works in that area as well, but for me to make sure that every single product is the same, that we are telling the truth, that we are producing the product the way we say we're going to, is significantly important. And I do understand how important it is for us to even do further development to have our own labs, because I'll give you an example. Just working on the root beet powder and the process I wanted to use and how I needed it to be formulated and the utility process, which are the steps that are taken to get to that point where it goes into the ingredients, took months. And I don't complain very often about how long things take, because I've told you guys a lot, I fail all the time. So a success for me is finally getting the product out there. And then I will only change it if I want to make it better and I find out something. So it's extremely important that this whole organization understands how important it is. If you've heard rumors that we don't check it, that's a rumor. And I don't think very highly of people that say things like that, because we have an amazing product line and we're extremely careful, I am, on what's produced, and that we keep the integrity of the products, and not just for us, but for animals, for clothing, for everything that we're doing. Like I found out that one of our sources for one of the clothing, they weren't treating their workers very good. So we're not going to use them anymore. We're going to make sure that we use fabrics and clothing and we source it from places where everyone is
humanely sourced.
Yes.
We're not Nike.
So how would you guys, I'm gonna don't say anything bad about other brands.
Did I just say anything bad about? I just said we're not Nike.
Okay, so I want to hand this over to Patrick, Ted, and Clay, because I've got to run to a meeting and then I'm coming back to the office because we're trying to plan the European. What time do you have to leave today?
I hate
Ted?
to see you go, but I love to watch you leave.
So we're trying to plan this European tour so that we can get the dates out so we have it solidified. It's really important. So hopefully we'll have an update on that by this week, so that you guys have the right dates and we're out there. And again, we're going to do some kind of cool things. We are going to do an event where we do focus on animals and we invite everyone to bring their pets outside. Huh?
Tell about the pool party.
Which pool party?
There's a pool party in the Hamptons.
Pool party?
Hey, if there's a pool party,
A barn party.
I'm bringing two things. I'm bringing my dog and a tennis ball.
Hey, I would love to have a talk at a pool where we can swim and then have the animals.
You were touching on something earlier, and you should revisit that, because the magnitude of that is unthinkable. And I've been saying it, but you hit it. So just drive it home one more time. This is for a whole new group of people.
It is. I really like a lot of your people that are in your community, you guys, they're not focused on this, but guess what? There's a lot of people that have never tried the root products
And
that
would never try
them, but they will do these products because they're looking for something to save their animals, to help their animals, to give their animals the best life possible. And I got to tell you, I'm one of those people. Like, I want the best things for our animals. I used to cook chicken. Of course, I love to give our animals everything we eat. And Clayton is like, Christina, you can't keep doing
You
that.
can't
'cause
feed the dogs Taco Bell, babe.
I don't treat Ted. Do you think I feed them? I don't even, twice a year, maybe I eat Taco Bell, and it's horrible for me. Late at night, 2 a.m. I don't feed our animals stuff like that. I try to feed them healthy
I have a
things.
question for you. I wrote.
Can I borrow your hat?
No,
Ver-
you
ver-
can't, because
well,
my hair right now.
Birgit wants to see the coat of arms on the hat.
Oh,
Can you?
I know,
please,
but
or-
my hair is so bad today because I've been in the Bronco.
And you never have a bad hair day. We already hit
Yes.
on that.
Coato-
You're never
Coato-
paying attention.
Coato, actually Coato and Pure Clean Pets, that Coato like,
But actually, there's a unique aspect when it
and
comes
actually, just so
flea-
you know,
to
Nat,
flea and
Christian
tick.
will get rid of worms and
You
cheese.
just hit on some of it. If you want proper flea and tick protection in your pets,
I gotta go, so I
There's-
can come back and plan this trip. I want to come back so I can get with Ted and Patrick. We have a whole list of things to meet with today, and we got to get Europe knocked out and some future events in the United States. So it's good to see everyone. Have a wonderful day. I'm going to go in the Bronco and drive to the meeting in the sun and come back.
slap hands.
That makes me happy.
Let's go. We need
I'll be
more of
back
that.
by
A happy Dr. Rahm is a happy world.